Hey, good morning, Jenna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. We're both on Central Time Zone and it's 11 for us, so it's still morning for us.
That helps.
People are going to be jumping on, but just wanted to say this is your first time, I think, to be on live stream in the Laser Lounge, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's a little
Awesome.
intimidating, but it's good. I'm
Well, thank
excited.
you. No, I thank you so much for joining us today. And people are going to jump on here, and we're not going to wait for them because most people, as we've talked about, will actually watch this later when they're
Mhm.
working or doing their thing. But we still go ahead and go ahead and film because you never know when people are watching and working. So,
Mhm.
welcome to the show. And first, I want to say we're going to talk about. I've titled the podcast and the live stream "Glowing Creativity: Crafting Neon Laser Signs," and it really is, just signs that have light with them. And so that's what we're going to
Mhm.
talk about today. But before we jump into the main topic, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. How many lasers you're running, what you're doing, how long you've been in this kind of laser maker business, just a little bit so we
Yeah.
understand who we're talking to.
Yeah. So I have a background actually in healthcare, doing therapy, and um, I got into lasers about 3 years ago, right around the pandemic time. And I started with a little diode laser and had a lot of fun with it, but quickly outgrew it and jumped straight in with both feet. I got the Thunder Nova 35100. And then just recently, earlier this year, I got the Bolt. And that is a sweet little machine. Very excited about it. So I've been in the laser space for about 3.5 years now. And
Okay.
my business is called Gravy Studios. So my last name is Musgrave, and so a lot of people call my husband and I like Gravy. So that's kind of where that comes from, and just because it's different. So yeah, I'm the
Very
owner and
good.
maker at Gravy Studios.
So what do you mainly make in your shop? I hear my dings going off as you're telling me what you make. I'm gonna try to find what computer that is. I have 5 computers in here.
Go take care of it. So I do in my shop, I do a lot of I have an eclectic mix. I do a lot of tumblers. I like to do the full wrap engrave, just because in my area there's not a lot of other people that are doing the full wraps. I do a lot of earrings just because I think they're fun and cute, and then I do a lot of business signs for just a lot of local businesses, and then the neon signs too have been a thing that I've been working on and getting to where I'm comfortable with those.
That's very good. I got an opportunity to meet you at the Lightburn conference, and something about you, you just, had your act together, and we've kind of become a little bit maker friends a lot since then. I guess that was in October, but I've really been watching you grow and watching what you're doing. Um, and that's really why I wanted to have you on because I wanted to kind of showcase you and show what you're doing. You've really taken your game up quite a bit in the sign side of the house. I remember the first time I saw one of your big projects was that. Do you have a picture of it that we can share? It's that FFA for life.
Oh,
I don't know
I
if
don't
you have.
I don't have it. I don't have it
Okay,
handy right
no,
now,
no big
but
deal. But
I
anyway,
can
that's
post
what
it
I
in the
first
comments
noticed.
later.
Yeah, that's what I first noticed that you had really challenged yourself, and
Mhm.
especially doing that on a 35 because those boards were big,
Yes.
and
That
you
was a lot of
obviously
print and cut.
had to use a pass through for that. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, so welcome to the Laser Lounge. For those of you, if you haven't, heard how our podcasts are, we like to bring in makers or talk about a special topic. And today we're going to talk about signs, neon signs, and also just lit signs.
Mhm.
So let's talk about signs in general. How did you get into them? What do you like to do with signs? And then we've got some demos later to kind of show, but just in
Mhm.
general, talk about your sign hustle.
So I've done a bunch of different signs versus where it's just, a really nice wood sign or a combination of like the wood backer with the acrylic and the standoffs. I did a couple for businesses like that and they were so beautiful, but I noticed that like it was just missing something. So then the next time that a business contacted me, I said, you know what? I said, this really needs a little something. So I convinced her to do a backlight on it. And that one, man, that one was super easy because all I did was I just cut out a little circle, glued it to the back of that sign, and then just glued a strip of LEDs to the back of that. Super simple, and it looks great. And that's another one that I'll have to link in the comments later, throw that picture up there. But it just, man, it just really set that off. Oh yeah, there's the marquee sign. This one was my first foray into lit signs. And that one gave me kind of a false sense of confidence because that one was so easy. Well, not the build, but the electric part of that one, because that one is just some C7 sockets that are vampire. Literally, you just shove the sockets into the wire and you're good, you're golden. So that one, I was like, oh, that was easy. You know what, I should really try like these LED neon signs. Because
So is this like on the backside, is this like Christmas lights kind of deal or what?
so they are the small round bulbs. They're about this big. It's called a C7
Okay.
bulb. It's a round. It's
Mhm.
not a Christmas light, so it's not like the long skinny one. It's round.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
And then do you have a fixed length of distance to where you have to put the next light, or you can just put it wherever you want and connect it?
I put so you can do them at whatever interval you want, but I followed the template from the SVG for the
Okay.
placement on those. Mm-hmm.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you about this, and then we're gonna jump into neon, but,
Uh-huh.
I think any kinda sign like this with a light is really awesome, and I can see
Mhm.
many applications where companies will say, "I need you to do this for our party." Party
Yeah.
planners would
Yeah.
love this kinda stuff. But is this
They do.
foam or is this wood, or what are you using for the material?
That one is half-inch foam from Uline. So that one came together pretty quickly, and they're pretty lightweight. But I did do plywood for the base on those, just so they weren't
Okay.
gonna like blow around. And yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so
very good.
that one's the foam.
That's the one that I originally caught my eye with kind of the
Mhm.
work you're doing. I don't know if I have any other signs here in mind, but, do you have, on your Facebook page so I can pull it up later and look as we're talking?
I've got some, yeah,
Okay,
I've got
perfect. I'll
some on
go
there.
there. So that's just regular one. Now, how did you start getting into the neon side? Because I will say I don't see a lot of makers jumping over there yet. So those that are, you're standing out. So talk
Yeah.
about the neon sign and let's talk a little bit also about the technology. You don't have to go super deep, but are these,
Mhm,
just strip lights? So go ahead and kind of give us an
mhm.
overview on that.
Okay, so I started with that marquee sign. That was kind of, and you know how as a maker, you start with things and you're like, "Oh, okay," and you kind of build up from there. So that was kind of my
Mhm.
project that led me to researching and doing other types. And then I started to see these custom faux neon. They're not true neon. I started seeing these custom neon signs popping up, and I thought, I'm wondering how people are doing it. And so I started doing some research. I looked into some of the information that other laser makers have put out there, and I felt like there were just still some gaps in it. And I didn't have all the tools, all the resources, all the knowledge that I needed, that I felt like gave me a really clean sign and where I felt confident in it. So I have
Yeah.
just been for a while compiling, testing different materials and researching techniques. And I've got it to a point where I really like have my process dialed in, where I'm like, yep, I got it. I think for me, I knew I had made it when I made a neon sign and I didn't cry during it. So, but yeah, these neon signs that I really like to do are with the LED strip lights. And I use the
Okay.
generation one with my laser. Uh, and there's some misinformation out there. A lot of people will say you can't do this without a CNC. I'm here to tell you, I don't have a
You're proving it.
CNC
Yeah.
and I'm doing it. But again, I had to really refine my process and the technique and find the right materials. And, but I don't know. When I come across a challenge, I'm kind of like, oh yeah.
You're diving
So,
into it.
I
And
do.
it's kinda a great question that popped up. Ingrid was asking any recommendations for YouTube training videos. Jenna, do you do any tutorials? And that kinda tees up where we're going, but, I heard you say there's not a lot of YouTube tutorials when you were starting out, but, Jenna is probably gonna be a little bit shy here, but I'm not. But she's actually putting some structure together, Ingrid, to
Yeah.
have, some tutorials that people can
Hmm.
really, dive in and to get more how to. And so we'll talk about that here in a second, which I think
Hmm.
is great. Because the community needs that kind of stuff, right? Here we have another little
Yeah.
comment. I
Yes.
saw the IL it's Illinois, right? 4-H.
Mhm. Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep, they're based out of
So
Champaign. I'm in Champaign County, Illinois. Uh-huh.
okay, so yeah, people notice that, right? A great sign
Mhm,
there. So let me ask you a couple questions about the
mhm.
neon stuff. I would not know anywhere to go. Do you go to Amazon and get the lights, or
I
is it
do,
a
I
specialty
do.
light company? Okay.
No, nope, you can get them on Amazon. Mhm.
And
That's where I
and
get them.
I've seen some advancements just in some of that strip lighting for like cars and some other things. You just cut it
Mhm.
wherever you want the length, right? And it kind of how does that
Essentially,
actually
yes.
work?
Yeah, you can cut it anywhere. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then you just gotta keep bringing power to it.
That's cool.
And
We'll
that's
have
and
to
that's where the
kind of
soldering comes in, so,
Oh,
yeah.
so you're actually soldering too.
Oh,
Tell
yes.
us a
It is
high
a l
level. Give me don't go
yes.
super deep, but just in
Okay.
general how the wiring works.
Okay, so, without going too deep, woo, because soldering is, it's deep. So it's you have you you have to have an electrical circuit. You have to have a general idea of what your circuit is, that you have a power source, you have a pathway, and you have a load, which in our case is the light. And so every time you cut that strip, you're cutting the circuit, you're cutting the path. So you just have to keep soldering those connections to complete the circuit. So
Okay.
each time you make a cut, you have to solder the two wires, the positive and the negative. And heaven forbid if you get them crossed, your whole project is done. so um so you've gotta pay attention, and you've gotta I don't know you
So
it's
if I'm thinking about it, you have to design the actual let's imagine that we were doing the 4-H one with neon.
Mhm.
You have
Okay.
to design the actual letters or whatever that
Yes.
is gonna be, or like
Yes.
behind you, you have that hustle, right?
Uh-huh.
You
Yes.
design the font,
Mhm.
and then you have to
Uh-huh.
strategically think about how where you're gonna put the light
Yes.
placement because
Yes.
of I'm sure there's a formula that says the distance from the next light will give you the best glow overall, right? Because if you get further away, do you get some I
Not
don't know how that
necessarily,
works.
no.
Okay. And
Nope.
then you have to probably think about what about the joints and the angles and how it needs to bend? Is there any restrictions there or
Yes.
thinking there or logic?
So, as far as the design process goes, when I'm creating the design, it's more about like the placement of the holes that are in the acrylic that allow my power to connect to go from one piece to the next. So there's a lot of thought that goes into that when you're designing it, and also the font itself, because not all fonts are neon friendly, is how I say it. But beyond that, it's um, the light, there's really no distance that makes it more or less light. Um,
Okay.
and I feel like you asked another question, but now I've forgotten it already.
I was asking about the angles of
The angles,
and
yes.
the
Okay.
tape. Yeah.
So with that flex strip, that silicone flex strip, and it has the wire inside of that, you can get with like the sign behind me, you can see there's about a 90-degree bend on that H, and that'll go pretty well. But anything kind of beyond a 90, you've got to be careful, because the silicone will resist it. So that's just another thing that it kind of comes with experience, and you have to have it in your hand and work with it to get an idea,
Sure.
get a feel for, like, okay, this will tolerate this much bend, but this nope, you can't bend it that much, so you're going to have to cut here and solder another piece to it to
Okay.
accommodate for this
Okay.
design.
So there's a workaround. You just have to it's another
Oh yeah,
joint that you have to do.
it's just another cut. Hmm.
Okay. And so as you're talking about that, a couple questions are coming to mind. Do you buy this as a kit or you have to buy it as piece parts and then like the plug part, like the plug is separate. When you go into Amazon, you have to order the plug
Mhm.
and you have to order the you call it silicone flex strip and then you may order
Yes.
other parts. There's no
Uh-huh.
like one all kit. You just kind of have put it
No, there
together.
isn't. There's not. There on Amazon, yeah, you need the flex strip itself, and then you need a power supply, something to actually plug into the wall. Some kits might have both of those together. The one that I like, they don't include it together. But besides that, you're going to need your acrylic, you're going to need your wire, and that's those are the base. That's the basics that you need. So
I'm
those
going
are
to
all the
pull it
parts
up.
that go into it.
I'm gonna pull it up just so we can take a look at it and it helps a little bit.
Hmm.
Is this
Yeah.
white, something like this? Is it
Yep.
kinda what you're
Yep.
talking
That's
about?
exactly it. Any of those.
Okay. And this, you can then go in and I'm assuming change the colors, or do you choose
Uh
by
huh.
color? Okay.
It just depends on the brand. Some of them you can buy individual colors. I haven't tried the ones that are color changing yet,
Okay.
but you can see off to the right hand side on that screen that you can choose.
Yep.
Like, oh, I want the ice blue. I want the red. I've got the pink one behind me. So,
Okay, that and here I see what you're saying. So let's say if I was going to need to create another joint, I can just cut
mhm.
this, I'm assuming, in between these little ridges here,
So
right?
on the black lines, those are the cut lines.
Okay. Ah, okay. See, I don't
Yeah.
even know. I don't even play with this.
Those are the
So
cut
those are
lines,
the
and
cut.
there's an individual LED in between each of those cut lines.
Okay. And is this kinda like it's easy to cut with scissors or you have to use a special tool or
You can cut it with scissors.
okay.
I I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you can
Sure.
use scissors, you can use wire cutters, you can use whatever, but it's all about like
Okay.
what's going to give you the cleanest look. And sometimes you got to play around with your tools and look at it different ways and just see what's easiest, quickest, gives you a clean look.
Gotcha. Okay, and so then that's the light. What's
Hmm.
the electrical part called? What just so I can kinda look it up, like
What's
the
the
connector to
electric?
the wall.
It's a AC to DC adapter.
Something like this?
Yep.
Okay.
Something just like that. Yep.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
Hmm.
Nice.
And
So, that's go ahead.
the reason you need that, and some people are like, oh man, because they get a little sticker shock when they look at it and like, do I really need this? So those neon strips, those flex lights, they are DC power. And for anyone who doesn't know, because I had to learn this too, what we have in our homes is AC power. So you have to have a converter to be able to plug it in and get that light. So it
Yeah.
is a necessary evil.
No, totally understand that. It would be
Hmm.
smart if somebody started putting out kits like that for people.
Yeah.
Hey, brainstorming there for you.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, who are buying these? Your clients? Is it realtors? Is it just moms and dads for their kids? Is it bars
Oh
and
man,
restaurants?
there are so many applications for this. So yeah, like kids' room decor, do the name, do something fun with it. A lot of businesses are incorporating these with their signs, even like the little social media signs to add a little pop of light and really draw customers in. Weddings are like probably the number one. Oh, the Thompsons, the Johnsons, those
Hmm.
weddings ones are just flying off the shelves. I'm doing one right now, which is a really big one, the biggest one I've done so far. It's about 3 feet wide by 2 feet tall, and it's for the local Mexican restaurant. So
Oh,
I'm,
cool. What's it
yeah.
say?
Okay, so it's before I tell you what it says, you have to know like our local owner. Whenever anyone goes in and you pay, he goes, "Thank you. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow." Every day, no matter like he always says, "See you tomorrow." So I'm making him a 3 foot by 2 foot neon sign that says, "See you tomorrow. Love, Carlos."
That's kind of cute. That's
It's
cute.
on brand, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. And for
yeah,
those
and
of you
it's
that
fun.
are listening live, we've got several people out there. If you have any questions for Jenna, please ask
Mhm.
in the chat. We can see that, and hopefully help get that answered. Obviously, I can't. I'm not in this space at all, but I'm learning myself. So I
Yeah.
see that one behind you, and
Mhm.
it's nice because it doesn't totally overwhelm, the video, but it shines in a way that it just gives a little glimpse, just like you're talking about. So if
Mhm.
you were
Oh, yeah.
an influencer or a podcaster or whatever, it just kind of gives that little hint if it was your logo in the background. Maybe I need one
Right?
for mine. I'm sure Reagan would tell me that.
Oh, I can
Or
hook you up.
Reagan, I'm wearing Reagan's merch today, if you can see.
Nice.
Shout out to Reagan.
Represent.
Kicking our silver, so maybe I need to get Reagan one, kicking our silver made. She's much better at the Instagram and TikTok at that. But you mentioned acrylic. Is that what you're primarily using for your
Yes.
neon signs? Okay.
Yes, and that's gonna be the most popular style is with the clear acrylic, especially for the weddings. I mean,
Okay.
you can use whatever base or backer you want. You could use wood, you can use colored or opaque acrylic. Um, but for me, the ones that I've seen that are the most popular, especially for the weddings, is the clear acrylic. Mhm.
Okay. So let's just talk wedding. Someone calls and says the Johnsons, you're doing
Mhm.
clear acrylic, and then
Mhm.
they typically tell you what color, or do they leave that up to you? How
Oh,
much
no, I give them
create?
options. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
usually for
then
the weddings, it's always either the bright white, the cool white, or the warm white. I have not and had anybody yet do a colored neon sign for the wedding.
And are they typically putting those on those green backdrops that look like
Mhm.
leaves?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, as you're talking about that, that would be a great opportunity just to straight out work with wedding venues, to go
Right.
and say, hey, I can, a lot of times they have packages as brides come in
Mhm.
for their event. You could partner with them and say, hey, this is,
Mhm.
some options we could do. Here's a digital catalog that they could pick from, and that would
Yeah,
be
that's
one way to kinda get in there. So, hopefully, you may
definitely.
be doing that. I don't know. I'm just free flowing,
Not yet,
thinking out loud,
but it's
how to grow a
that's
business.
I'm making notes.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to find some. The other thing is party planners.
Mhm.
I have worked with party planners with the foam signs that I do, and it's, that's all they do is, do one event with a bunch of signs. So I could see them maybe making some that they took to a couple of different same type,
Oh,
venues.
right, yeah. Yeah, celebrate, happy
I could see
birthday,
it.
all
I
that,
could
yeah.
see it with people doing those what are those things called where they do photo,
Like
where
a
they go
photo
take
booth.
photo booth, doing some neon stuff
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Just kind of
I actually Yeah, I work with an event planner, and I actually was able to make a neon sign for Kraft Heinz, who has they have a factory in my town. So that was like a really big deal for me. So that was
that's
one of the ones I
cool.
did not cry on, surprisingly.
That is so neat. We got a good question here. Let me show
Uh-huh.
it. So do you inset that then into the acrylic, or do you lay it on top? So the actual where do you put the light?
It sits on top
Okay.
for the clear acrylic. Hmm.
Okay, and we're gonna show a little video here in a second that's a kinda will give you a visual of that, but if I remember correctly in some discussions with you, let's say you were gonna do that one right in the back, hustle.
Hmm.
You pick your font, and I heard you
Yep.
say there's neon friendly fonts. So what is a neon friendly font before I ask the question?
It's a font that doesn't really change in thickness. You can't,
Okay.
we're working with a piece of material, it's a strip, it never changes in thickness. So you just have to be mindful of, of what the font looks like.
Okay. Having the same stroke throughout the whole thing is kind of what you're
That's right.
saying.
Yep.
Okay. So you go and choose hustle. And let's say we choose
Mhm.
the same font that you have in the back. Then you start doing your design. And I'm
Mhm.
just free flowing here. You do your design
Uh-huh.
of where you're going to take that light rope
Yes.
along the font. And then
Mhm.
kind of by experience where you're going to have to cut it, right? Because
Yep.
of the way the joints are. And then
Wherever
you
it
you
intersects,
put
yep.
like you put like circles into the acrylic, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
where you attach it. Now we saw a picture of the rope. What attaches the rope to the acrylic?
I glue mine.
Oh, really? Just like with hot
Yep.
glue?
Oh, no, I use a special kind of glue. I mean, you can use any type of CA glue, honestly, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I didn't even know that. I
And
thought
that's
you would be putting a clamp or something.
no, so that's my workaround to because I don't have a CNC. And like I said, a lot of people
Okay.
say, "Oh, you can't do these without a CNC." And that may be true of the Gen 2 style LED strip, but with this Gen 1, you don't need a CNC and you can just physically attach it to the face of the acrylic.
Okay. So you're just gluing it straight down. Wow.
That's
Okay,
right.
that's
Yep.
cool.
Mhm.
Man. Okay, so good question there. And all right. So here's the thing I want to talk about. So someone asked before, are you doing any, how do you do training? How did you educate yourself on it, first of all? But also, what are you doing now to help the community? How did you learn this stuff?
Okay. Well, so I mean, technically everything is already out there, right? You can look up videos on how to solder. You can look up videos on, how to do this, that, and the other. But what I found was like, everybody's using different tools, everybody's doing it a different way, and it doesn't all really mesh. So I mean, in the time that I've been like researching and refining my process and realizing that there's not one good place for with all of that information all in one place, I was like, you know what? It's going to be me. Let's do it. And I'm very blessed that my husband is a cinematographer. He has all of the production equipment. I mean, like if you could see my setup right now, all the lights that are on and the camera lens that we're using right now, it's like it's not we're not working off of some webcam right here. Um, but my
So
husband was
he's
like, all
probably
right, let's
looking at
do this.
mine, watching and going, "What's Alicia's janky setup going on over there with all that light?"
Ah.
Well, it looks great. I mean, he definitely
Oh,
knows what
thank
he's
you.
doing. So
I
let's
know,
talk
right?
about it. You are, and then I want to follow up later with a question that came in because it's good. But
Mhm,
you are starting kind of your own little page and your own little tutorial kind of thing where if
mhm.
people are really wanting to get into this, they can kind of sign
Yes,
up and get all access to the
that's
details of
right.
actually how to do this for a
Right.
nominal fee.
Yeah,
You got a cute
right.
little video here, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the stage so you can talk through
Sure.
it. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome to Hustle and Glow. I'm Jenna. I'm the owner and maker at Gravy Studios. I'm really glad you're here. I'm going to teach you how to create neon signs using your laser. We're going to cover everything from basics to advanced lessons in mini bite-sized videos that are easy to follow and understand. Self-explanatory.
I've got some
Pretty
bloopers.
self-explan. I'll do it live!
Oh, that's a cute little video. I like that. So tell me a little bit what you're doing there. What you're going to
All
have
right.
a Facebook group, and I don't
Mhm.
know. Just give us a little background there.
All right. So when I saw all the gaps in the knowledge and the fact that everything is all spread out and you've got to kind of I wanted to have a resource where everything is all in one place. So, with the help of my husband, I have created what I'm calling a neon masterclass for laser owners who don't have a CNC. So, what it is it's called Hustle and Glow, and there are 14 or 15 videos now, I think, including the bloopers. Because if you can't have fun and laugh at yourself, like what are you even doing in life? So the bloopers are included in that. So there's like 14 or 15 videos that include like how do I get started? How do I solder? There's downloads with all the materials and the tools and the supplies that you need. There's access to a Facebook group where we're all coming together to just talk it through. And then so yeah, I'm calling it Hustle and Glow, and it's like it's everything you need all in one place, and I'm really excited about it.
Do you have the Facebook up yet, or are
It's
you
a private
like I'm
group.
trying to find it? Okay, so I don't
It's a
see it
private
right
group.
now.
Right, right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, very
So that's
good.
going to be a private group, and that community is part of the all access for the master class.
Okay, perfect. So,
Yeah,
once you get that going, just let us know and we can,
yeah.
tell people where. So, because I'm
Launch
sure
date
people
is
are going to
April
be hitting you up.
2nd. I'm so excited.
Yeah. See, looky here. We already got people asking, how do we,
I know, right? I know it's not. It's we're doing final like color and audio on
final
those
testing?
videos
Yeah, exactly.
before
Well,
they
that's
before
great. I think Good
How
job, Jenna,
somebody
on that.
already
I think
found this on my website. You guys are like on it.
they're gonna be on it. Yeah. So
Yep.
I wanna circle back. Y'all keep asking questions because this question I'm gonna pop up here is a good one. And,
Mhm.
we in the limited time we have left, we wanna have some good questions. What's the difference between Gen 1 and 2 LED strips?
Okay. All right. So the one that you pulled up on Amazon is a Gen 1 strip. And essentially the light strip with the wires, that circuit board is inside of the silicone tubing. All right, that's Gen 1. The Gen 2
Okay.
is they are two separate pieces. So you've got your silicone tubing over here and you've got your light strip over here. And it's a different process for assembling it.
And
But
so if someone would they use Gen 2 now? I mean, do you just do like you do everything else? Like
Gen 2, you would need to have a CNC to do that.
Oh, okay. You said that
So it's just
before.
a difference in the assembly, but it'll
Okay.
give you the
That's
same.
good.
I mean, the end result is going to be the same.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm sure you're keeping your finger on the pulse of what's coming in this space as far as technology coming, I'm assuming out
Mhm.
of China mostly. What are
Yes.
you seeing with LED lighting? I've seen some cool videos of some really neat stuff that was just on TikTok or Instagram. But what are
Yeah.
you seeing on the horizon?
Um, you know, I haven't put that much thought and effort into that just yet, except for the color changing ones and the ones with the remotes. And I'm hoping that we can get to the point where we can do that with this type of sign, so that we can do the custom names and the color changing and things like that. I don't think we're there yet, but I'm pretty sure it's close.
Okay, that would be cool. Let's see. We had one question here. Is the class on your own schedule or set time? Just some
No, they
specifics.
so these videos will be just available. You're going to have lifetime access. So it's not like, oh, you only have 60 days to view these. It's on your own time and go at your own pace and rewatch it because you're like, oh, wait, how did she do that again? So,
Yeah, that's
uh-huh.
great. That's good because then if they didn't catch it, they can go back and watch it.
Because these,
Well,
like I
listen.
said, soldering is a very in-depth thing. And it's like,
Oh, I'm sure.
you
I'm
want to be
sure.
able to practice it and go back and do it again. And
Absolutely.
it can be stressful. So,
And sounds like you said you're pairing up a Facebook group with it so you can ask,
yes.
detailed questions and have
Yes.
some.
Yes. So they can come there and ask me things specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, Jenna, this has been great information. I'm glad that you were able to come on today and talk
Thank you
about,
so much.
a maker thing that is out
Mhm.
there that maybe some of us aren't, dabbling in yet. There's
Yeah.
lots of opportunity if you wanted to,
Mhm.
do something different that not everybody's doing.
Right.
Even just for your kids, man. I mean, I can see me doing one for my shop that would be kind of cool on the wood shop side. Has
Right.
some lighting in there at night. But where can we get a hold of you if we want more information about what you're doing and some of your classes?
So right now, if you go to gravystudios.com and it's in the headliner, just click on Hustle and Glow, and that'll take you to the page. And since the class is not currently available, not until April 2nd, you can sign up for that email so that you'll be one of the first to get access to it. And I'm also doing an early access discount, so you can hop over there and get on that if you want to.
I'm pulling it up just so we
Oh,
can
there we
take a
go.
look
Yeah.
at it.
Yep. Hustle
Okay,
and
so
Grow.
right here, Hustle and
Mhm.
Glow.
There it is.
Oh, nice. I see your man's been making your page look good. All right.
Somebody did a nice job.
It's doing a nice job. I like how you're at least coming professional. Okay, so
Well,
let's
thank
looky here.
you.
This is what you were saying. You just laid on top, and that's kind of a
Yeah.
pictorial of what it looks like. Oh,
Yes.
look at you with connecting your wires here. You're doing some testing before you do the final
Yes.
build out.
So yeah, this is a screen grab from the troubleshooting section of my class because with me making my own signs and crying through, oh my gosh, what's wrong? That was one thing that I realized was missing in some of the other things that are out there is like, what can go wrong? What does it look like? And how do I fix it? And so that was something that I really felt was important to address in Hustle and Glow. Oh,
Very
and
good. I like that.
there's my neon sign I did for Kraft Heinz. So,
Okay, I like that.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been awesome having you on today, and I just want to thank you, for your time. Just I can tell by the comments here that people have found this beneficial. The classes open up around the 1st of April, so keep your eye on it. You now know where to go find more information on it.
Hmm.
Jenna is a member of the Laser Lounge and an active member, so she'll be in there if you have any additional questions.
Yeah.
We're going to turn this into a podcast, so it'll be up on the audio mode that we normally push them to, and they'll also be up on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and put it up as a regular video. Want to thank our sponsors for the show today. We've got Thunder Laser USA, Phantom CNC, Lone Star Adhesive, Odie's Oil, and also Rotoboss Rotaries. So Jenna, thank you again for coming on today, and I hope you have an awesome time. And I'm sure I'll be hitting you up soon for a sign for maybe Reagan or something. So any
All
final
right.
closing
Sounds
comments,
good.
Jenna? Any final closing comments?
Okay. Let me just share a couple of things that I wish I would have known when I went into neon sign making. So one of the first things is avoid the urge to add more solder when you're soldering. More solder is usually not the answer. And the other thing would be like when you start taking up soldering, if this is something that's new to you, just have patience and grace with yourself, because you can watch a video on YouTube, you could watch me do it and think, oh my gosh, she's so fast and it looks so good. And that's just like learning any new skill. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience and practice. There's a technique to it. So don't give up and just keep practicing. That's what I would have said to myself.
Well, that's good feedback for somebody, who's trying to get in it. I showed the page again because someone wanted to just get a little bit confirmation on what it was. Listen, you have a beautiful day. And one final thing, Jenna is the one whose parents own the reindeer farm, right?
Yes,
And so
that's right. Yes.
the awesome picture that we posted in the group of that. So you definitely have an interesting background that's fun to kind of follow and see
I'm
about.
all over the place.
Thank you, Jenna, for coming today. We appreciate it. And
Thanks for having me.
hit her up for more questions online. Thanks, guys.
Bye.